The Supreme Court today has dismissed a petition by the former principal of Arjikar Medical College and Hospital, Sandip Ghosh, who had challenged the transfer of the investigation into the alleged financial irregularities to the CBI. A bench that was led by Chief Justice of India, Dhananjaya Y Chandrachud, held that Ghosh cannot have a locus standi in a public interest litigation that had demanded an inquiry into the alleged corruption case in the hospital, and that Sandip Ghosh could exercise all his rights under the criminal law as an accused. Meanwhile, in other updates, the BJP has also lashed out at the TMC and said that even the parents were not spared over the renovation letter problem that continues. Even as all of those issues goes on, there is questions that are being raised of the involvement of the Kolkata police in this entire murky case that has unfolded in the last 1 month. Let's start our conversation. I'm going to bring in Brinda Adige first on the telecast with me. And Brinda, let's understand, I'm going to particularly focus on these two events, two pieces of information that have been now divulged and are in public domain. Number one, the parents of the girl who was raped and murdered have come out and said that a video that was shot of them, where they are saying that the police did not force them to take the money, was actually doctored. The video was made, which was forcibly made by the police, and the police had actually asked these parents, the family members, to hush up the case, to keep quiet and not talk about it, and even had offered money. Now, the other issue that has been raised, and it is quite shocking to know, is that the former principal, Sandip Ghosh, had ordered people to come into the premises of the medical college and demolish a restroom right after, the very next day, after the rape and murder had taken place in the premises. What do these revelations point towards? You as a lay person, watching all this happening, reading about it, the CBI giving more information as the case progresses. What do you think all of this is alluding to?
As a lay person, knowing how our political system, our legal system functions in this country, we have no doubt about both of these revelations, because from day one, there have been all of these outrage and outbursts that we have seen on social media, questions that have been asked. Why were the parents not allowed to see their daughter's body for over 3 hours when they were asked to come immediately by whoever it was from the hospital? So when that immediate urgency was conveyed on the phone, saying, come immediately, your daughter is unwell. Of course, all of those was lies, but come immediately. Then why weren't the parents allowed to see the daughter or her body immediately? Why were they asked to wait for 3 hours? 1. 2, as soon as all the autopsy and everything was done, and there were doubts again being raised that we do not have all the truth, we don't have all the facts, we still suspect. The parents themselves were talking about all of this with their relatives, with the hospital authorities. The body is cremated. And their parents somewhere said, or we heard somewhere, that the police insisted that they must go and cremate the body immediately to avoid law and order eruption. So if all of this were already doubts that were cropping up, already questions that were being raised, the two revelations that you have brought now on your channel, there is not an iota of doubt that all this was done. And to wipe off the evidence, the hospital director has also asked for the so-called renovations and demolitions. So the court has to take cognizance of all of this and do what is just and what is correct.
Ramakant Gaur, he is a lawyer of the Supreme Court, also on the telecast with me. How do you view when all these pieces of information that are put out in the public domain, and now the parents coming out and saying that the police actually did offer them money to keep quiet? They were forced to make a statement on video by the Kolkata police. They were forced to in fact sign a blank piece of paper. Can these statements be used as information and use as an argument in favor of the girl, the victim and her parents in getting justice, and more importantly, then finding out and at least probing who these officials were within the Kolkata police and whose behest were they working on to try to hush up this entire case?
Meghna ji, the first response to your question, whether these would weigh in the mind of the court or the authorities during investigation or trial, I would say these would form the concrete evidence while implicating the accused persons. And this is what has been observed by Honorable Calcutta High Court in number of orders when hearing the public interest litigation. Now, second aspect is the role of these accused persons and what was happening in RG Medical College. If you look at the complaint filed by Dr. Akhtar Ali, who was the then Deputy Superintendent of the Medical College, this complaint was filed on 13th July 2023. So nothing new is coming. Though Dr. Sandip Ghosh came to the Supreme Court today before Honorable Chief Justice's bench. So this complaint was registered on 13th July 2023. No action was taken. So the authorities of the state were cognizant about the facts that there were material irregularities, financial irregularities, which were happening in the premises of the medical college, but they were silent. It was a bench of Justice Rajarshi Bharadwaj, who in WPA 21396 of 2024 has held that investigation must take place. Subsequently, Honorable the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court has appointed SIT or given CBI the authority to investigate into the financial irregularities as well as this. Why I am clubbing two? And it was an argument of Dr. Sandip Ghosh before Supreme Court today, which was discarded by bench led by Honorable Chief Justice.
Okay.
It was a den of, medical college was a den of corruption. It is on record today. No investigation was taking place. I don't say whether the allegations were right or wrong, but nobody bothered to investigate. And there are serious allegations which include trafficking, which includes the financial bungling, which includes the inferior quality of drugs. And state government is sitting mum over those allegations.
Okay.
And this complaint was sent to DIG Anti-Corruption Branch, West Bengal. Now, this was a crime which was existing there. And when there is a crime, there are criminals. The presence of accused Sanjay is still not explained by any authority of medical college or anybody else. What was he doing at that place? On the date of incidents, you say this was a sole accused. All right, but what was he doing? What was such kind of people? Why was such kind of people?
Yes, of course, you have questions that have been raised with regards to how they can be just people allowed to enter into the premises, no checks and balances in place. Is there enough security in place? Police patrol that was not happening. The lives and the safety and security of women, which is paramount. They are working round the clock. There are night shifts. Obviously, these security lapses become glaring in issues such as this. Absolutely. Let me get in Uday Sai, former IPS on the telecast with me. So Uday Sai, when statements such as these are made, and when you see that there seems to be a deliberate attempt by the Kolkata police to hush up the case, to cover it up, the question that comes in everybody's minds is that why have these police officials not been summoned for interrogation? Why have they not been taken into custody? by the CBI up until now? Uday Sahai, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can hear you.
Mr. Uday Sahai, I would request you to go to a lit up area because you are just not visible. Okay, meanwhile, let me get in Dr. Arindam Biswas. He's a senior consultant at RN Tagore Hospital. Dr. Biswas, the things that are emerging out of this medical college and the kind of, the financial irregularities and the drug trafficking that is taking place. There is organ trafficking that is taking place, as has been mentioned by Ramakant God. These are all at this point of time, speculation. But is this commonplace? Is this a common occurrence in most hospitals in our country? What is the state of hospitals, whether government or private hospitals in India?
Market is rife with speculations, market is agog with misinformation. But I have passed from a different medical college 3 decades back. We did not find anything illegal or illegitimate going around inside medical college premises. But unfortunately, this incident has happened, and several incidents are being reported where people were enjoying bacchanalian spree inside guest house within the premises of Arjikar Medical College. But I think the CBI will look into it. We are banking on CBI to unravel this conundrum. An unfortunate, heinous, grisly incident has happened. We need an answer that who exactly were involved, how this has taken place, and why this has taken place. We are waiting with bated breath. Every doctor in Calcutta, not only in Calcutta, all over India, is waiting with bated breath to find out to what exactly happened, why this happened. So we are waiting. On Monday, I think CBI will share a bit of information with us, and which we will be able to know and access, because we are really worried on about the current scenario and what will happen in future. So this investigation possibly will be a milestone and a landmark event.
Okay. Brinda Adige, do you have any hope that justice would be given to the family and the hundreds and thousands and millions of people who have shown solidarity with the family members of the victim? Do you think at this point of time, do you fear that it is just going to be this one person who's the scapegoat? Yes, he is the accused, he's killed the girl, he's raped the girl, but there are several others who are also involved. They might just be let go of because of lack of evidence, because I don't know, there are higher ups who are trying to protect certain individuals, and there could be a chance that justice actually is not prevailed.
That justice comes through. Justice must come through. That is what the courts and the system and the mechanisms are, and we taxpayers pay them to deliver justice. But like the points that you mentioned, where are the other culprits? Where are the other rapists? There is no doubt about it, because when the autopsy was done, forensic evidence has been gathered that there was 150 grams of semen. Humanly impossible for one man. So where are the others? So probably the forensic department, the medical department has to look at how they are going to separate all the DNAs, and who knows, maybe hundreds of people who went through that period of time, which is not more than 2.5 hours. They must be checked, they must be tested, and their DNA is presented. I'm sure that is not difficult if it is done systematically. 2, you pointed out the most glaring scare and fright that all of us have is the political nexus. So if the political nexus between the police, the hospital, and very sadly we have to say the courts continues, then we will be sitting back and saying, oh my God, there goes something labeled under procedural lapses. So there is there's an acquittal that is done. So it is important for us to find out whether the courts will go out of their way to say, okay, here are all these kind of circumstantial evidence. I want the police to get me all these people now. The courts are our last recourse. We don't have anywhere else to go. So if the courts wash off their hands, where else can we go? So courts have a very, very strong and important role over here, and I think it is time for the courts to stand their ground and say, justice is what you expect from us, and that is what will be delivered.
Okay.
So that political parties, politicians, all of these nexus that is happening over there should be brought out. Why not?
Okay.
The citizens have a right to it.
Okay. Okay. With this, we've still not been able to find a single other person except for the one who is in jail, Sanjay Roy, who may be involved in this crime that has taken place. It's been 32, 33 days. What are the chances that and especially people who are influential, how easy does it become for people with influence, whether within the police system or for that matter those who are getting protection from the politicians, the higher ups, the authorities, to get away with crimes such as these?
Well, first of all, we need not get completely disappointed because you get about 90 days to charge sheet after the arrest. That's the technical legal position. And even if 32 days have passed, still you have, more than half of the period given to carry out the investigation. So in the initial investigation, if things have not come out, doesn't mean it will not come out. And still you have a lot of time. That's one. Number two, the circumstantial evidence in such cases do play a very, very important role because there is a body contact. And in this case, if there is a suspicion of body contact of the victim with a number of men, it can't be that no traces are left on the body. And that's one thing which I feel still the police CBI has not shared, because they don't share this kind of minute details with the press. But that shouldn't be giving you some kind of disappointment that nothing is. So doomsday has not come. I am quite optimistic that as we proceed, something substantial would come out. And the most important point I mentioned is there's still a long way to go before your timeline gets completed.
Okay, all right. On that note, let me also once again get in my fourth guest, Dr. Arindam Biswas. How do we, at this point in time, of course, vigils that are being carried out by students, by medical doctors, resident doctors, what is that one appeal that you would want to make on behalf of the doctors' fraternity to the public?
I would like to clarify one point. It is not 150 grams of, it is the 151 grams of weight of the uterus. It was a misinformation from the social media, number one. Number two, the protests are ongoing. Doctors are still protesting and they want more security. And the impetus has been provided by the common people, which I would like to underscore. The participation of the common people has certainly provided an inspiration to the doctors that they should go on ahead with the fight, because they need an answer, they need justice. This is the main important point, that every human deserves respect in their workplace. One should not get killed, murdered, or harassed in her workplace. That is the underlying message which we all have from Kolkata.
Okay, all right. On that note, I'm out of time, but I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views on this very sensitive subject. I'll slip into a short break. Thanks for watching NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.